Thank you, Dan. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. So my name is Zhiwei from Intel. I'm the product manager for OPEA that I'm going to present it to you. Let me just start sharing my screen. Sharing the screen.
And while he's getting that up, I'll just kind of give the preface again that with one of the things that the board asked us to do a few months ago is start focusing more on use case orientation for what we do with confidential computing. And a couple of those main use cases that we just mentioned were AI and supply chain. So this project that Zhiwei is about to talk about is another Linux Foundation project. So there's some potential good synergy there. And we want to look at what we can do with confidential computing to help secure whatever AI stack people are working with. But this might be a particularly interesting one for us, given the affinity with the Linux Foundation. And I can see your slides now.
Okay, cool. Then thank you, Dan, for the introduction. So what I'm going to present today is called OPEA. It stands for Open Platform for Enterprise AI. And it is a project under the Linux Foundation. So it's an open source project, and we're welcoming all the ecosystem members to join force to build open source solution for Gen AI for enterprise. We have open source the code under GitHub repo under this link. And I will share the deck after the meeting to done, and everybody will have the deck afterwards. Feel free to reach out in case of technical discussions, use case discussions. This is my email. So I will go ahead into. We want to have a look at the problem statement for today at enterprise in terms of a Gen AI solution. So since ChatGPT launched into the market about 2 years ago, so enterprise AI started building the Gen AI solution to increase their enterprise productivity. Nevertheless, the Gen AI solution is a very complex and a compounded AI solution system. It's not that straightforward. And enterprise need to think about a lot of things when they build a Gen AI solution. How do I make the different AI component together to make it really efficient and performant? Should I use open source solution? Should I use a closed source solution? So how do I ensure my data is secure so that the data does not feed back to the model to make the model intelligent so that I lose my intelligence on my enterprise data? And how do I ensure that my Gen AI solution is scalable? And how do I measure my Gen AI solution? All these questions all came up into the mind when the enterprise want to build a Gen AI solution. And based on this, then we just launched this OPEA project in May this year. It's about 3-4 months ago. So basically, we want them bring the ecosystem vendor for the Gen AI solution space. No matter you are a large language model provider, you are cloud CSP, your hardware infrastructure vendors, your chip vendors, or the vector DB vendors, security vendors, all join forces together to build open source solution. And OPEA actually, in a one sentence summary, is we're offering the open source AI inferencing microservices and the reference solutions. Basically, we offer a solution that enterprise company can use in an out-of-box experience. And secondly, we prepare microservice IP so that enterprise OEM can just cherry pick based on their need. The overall motivation is to simplify the Gen AI adoption and reduce the time to market. I'll have more details from technical perspective later. Just one page on the top level marketing side, just let you guys know how is since the 3-4 months after the launch, how is the development of from an OPEA partner standpoint. As of today, this is early August, we have about 35 vendors. We have more than doubled since early launch of the ecosystem partners. And we are right now at the 22nd of August. We have already exceeded 40 OPEA partners from a different ecosystem value chain. And also one more news starting from yesterday, besides Intel, who was the only AI chip company offering CPU, AI accelerator, and GPUs. We have AMD also coming on board 2 days ago. So basically, everybody, there's 40 OPEA members as of today, truly believe that open source, the power of the open source, that can bring customer more choices for the joint AI solution. So we have vector database vendors. We have a Hugging Face like a Model Hub. We have the knowledge graph vendors. We have ISVs, OSVs, all these OEMs. So basically all the sectors from the value chain of the Gen AI ecosystem. Certainly we hope to have more from this meeting, after this meeting. To become a member of the OPEA partner is really, really simple. We need a logo of your company and a quote from your company. Why do you want to join OPEA? Then you become a member, and afterwards, we will welcome you to join the technical steering committee so that we can discuss the Gen AI enterprise use case, how to make it more secure, for example, from a security standpoint. And Dan is also leading the security working group at OPEA Group, for example. And this is just example. So we welcome more vendors coming in to learn this new field and to bring your contribution together. And the final target is to make a win-win solution and to make a competitive joint AI solution to the ecosystem. Okay, then I will go more detail to the product and technical side. When we look at a joint AI solution, so we will gather the customer requirement, and then we will gather it and implement OPEA component. Component is more like a Lego blocks. So each of the component is actually a microservice, like the embeddings and vector database. So all these blocks, building blocks, will be used as IP in the final reference solution. So let me go through with you guys one after another. So if you look at the customer requirement, data security, so super important, especially for this group. From AI standpoint, how do I make my data secure? There's a couple of techniques from AI standpoint. I can use RAG, which is pretty popular today. It's a retrieval augmented generation. That's the one. And second, in order to make my data really my data, structured data, and to build a dedicated model, then we can use fine-tuning techniques. Or we can also use a long context window techniques like the Google Gemini. So you have a super long context window. So you don't need a RAG or a fine-tuning. You simply put all your data into the prompts and you get your dedicated response. That's from the AI perspective. Certainly, we also from the security, confidential computing perspective, we'll have more know-how to be added. The customer want the whole solution easy to use so that I can also increase my productivity and reduce time to market. Also, the cost is the important factor. It's not only just the operating cost, number of the IT resources that I can build my Gen AI, but also the production cost. How can I ensure my Gen AI solution can have the maximum number of the token in average so that I have a better ROI and a better performance? What model should I use? Should I use closed source model like ChatGPT or from Anthropic, that's a cloud? Or should I use open source like Llama 3 or Mistral? From user experience perspective, probably text to text is no longer sufficient. We need digital human, we need avatar, and we need a lot of different things to make the entire user experience super good. And how do I evaluate my solutions? Do I support enough the evaluation framework? And also the deployment scenarios. Should I purchase the hardware, CPU, GPUs to build my own data center on-prem to make it super secure? Or should I just keep the data portion of my data on-prem based on the CPU and call the public models on the CSP side, this kind of hybrid side, or I just put everything on cloud? These are all the different scenarios the customer want to consider. And all this portion, we will factor that in when we're building this OPEA from the solution space. On the component and microservice perspective, so we need to consider the different options for the embedding models, the vector database, retrieval re-rankers, the popular large language models, and also from a multimodality perspective, the vision models. The model serving part, the most popular model serving like a VLLM and the TGI, so that my speculative decoding and also the page attention continuous batching to ensure the best token latency and token throughput. This is super important from cost perspective for AI inferencing. What options do I have for large language model frameworks? Longchain, Llama Index, Haystacks are all considered in the scope of OPEA. Now, besides the graph, we also have the knowledge graph and the graph rack. Beyond the rack, we will also scale to fine-tuning and also in future, the AI agent. In the very near future, the AI agent. And even beyond that, humanoid, embodied AI, humanoid AI afterwards. So all this, we will have the pipeline prepared for OPEA building blocks as a microservice. And then we need to bring all the microservices together into a reference solution. And the key wording here, besides easy to use, we need to make sure the reference solution is composable and configurable. That means the enterprise customer can easily switch and replace the different components as they want. And we will support all the popular use cases like check Q&A, document summary, code generation, code translation, visual Q&A. We have a lot of more in the pipeline. And all in all, we need to make sure it is easy to use. Below here, it is example. How do we want to make sure it is easy to use? And one scenario, it is a no-code, low-code scenario. So that Intel will also open source this solution probably in early October. So what we want to do here, the customer can select the different building blocks on the right-hand side. They can select the different use case, different building blocks. And eventually they can just swap the different building blocks and microservice. For example, I don't want to use the vector database from Redis, but I want to use it from Pinecone. I want to use another embedding model. I want to use another large language model. So customer can configure and select eventually, and they will see the system matrix and an evaluation afterwards so that they can compare and make their decision afterwards. This is a nutshell, a short summary of what we want to do. We have a more detailed example in the next page. As we said, RAG is an important solution to ensure the enterprise data to be secure. And this is an example showing what we want to do with RAG. This is just intention to show how complex just to build a RAG solution for enterprise AI. And the entire architecture is actually pretty straightforward from use case perspective. When a user wants to send a query to the GenAI solution, embedding model will convert from the text into the vector database. At the same time, the retrieval re-ranker will collect the enterprise data information through the data ingestion. And we combine the two information, additional context on top of the user query. We will send it to the large language model. And afterwards, we will check the hallucinations through the guardrail. And then user send it back to user. User can give more feedback through the alignment, SFT and RLHF, to make the entire system more intelligent. So each of this dashed line is a building blocks / microservice in the OPEA architecture. So basically, to build a RAG system, we may need 7 to 8 different microservice together. We can make it far more complex. This is very high level. So just give us a high level overview how complex a joint AI solution could be for enterprise AI, and who may not necessarily have that sufficient AI knowledge. Therefore, what we want to do in general is to make it simple, to make it useful. Entire OPEA core content, we have two fundamental pieces for OPEA from technical standpoint. We have a construction piece and we have an evaluation piece. The construction piece is how do we implement and build Gen AI solutions. So we have a different set of building blocks like the large language models, vision models, embedding models, vector database, rankers, processing for the prompt, and so on and so on. And also from the use case perspective, how to make sure that you have the entire end-to-end solution for AI agent, and you have all the end-to-end building blocks for the Gen AI flow, and the sufficient tools for the fine-tuning and customizing your data, optimizing your data, and for fine-tuning. And also, all in all, this is how do we build a Gen AI solution from the construction part. Once we construct the AI solution, how do we know this AI solution is good enough? Then we have the second piece for the evaluation. So providing the framework and also the matrix to evaluate the solution from the performance, feature, trustworthiness, and enterprise readiness perspective. And we also have the idea to offer certification. So in a nutshell, we have a construction piece and we have an evaluation piece. Both pieces will be factored in the detailed roadmap in the next page. And this is the roadmap we just reviewed with the technical steering committee at OPEA a few weeks back. So it's a lot of content, a lot of wording, but nevertheless, the overall story is very, very simple. So we started our entire project in May. From May to August, we were concentrated on the most popular use case, which is the RAG that we introduced earlier. From May to August, we have the RAG implementation done. By end of August, we will have the entire solution for RAG ready. After August, in September, we will go to step 2 to focus more on the multi-modalities. So image to video generation, image to text to image generation, and more diffusion model will be supported since September. And in Q4 this year, we will even scale beyond other techniques like the fine-tuning and the knowledge graph. AI agent, as we said earlier, we will, by supporting this more easy, as a first step, single agent as a first step, like the React and the planning execution, and also different tooling for the agent will be supported here. Closed source large language models will also be considered, like the ChatGPT and the Cloud from Anthropic, the most popular two one. Also the Graph Rack, increasing traction at the AI space. In Q1 2025, we will be considering the confidential container, confidential computing piece. The specification is still open. We welcome more members to join. The security working group, we need your help to define the specification. From AI use case standpoint, multi-agent will be supported there. Fine-tuning, more complex fine-tuning scenario. And we're closely monitor the ecosystem solution from a long context window perspective. And no-code, no-code solution, so we will offer the Gen AI solution. This is from the AI feature use case standpoint. So the storyline is actually very simple. Beyond RAG, we know what the market and the enterprise AI need. So this is AI feature and use case perspective. And on the lower part, I still want to point out is from a hardware support perspective. This is the entire open source, and at the beginning, we have only Intel as the only hardware AI chip vendors. So Intel CPU and Intel AI accelerator Zhang Gaudi were in the scope. Nevertheless, since August, we've been supporting the most popular use case at the CSPs like AWS. So Intel Xeon plus NVIDIA GPU instance, the most popular instance is covered at OPEA scope. So it's not just Intel. And by having AMD on board, we won't be surprised we will be supporting AMD in the Q4 or the Q1 next year. This is the data center perspective. From the client age and the PC perspective, starting in Q4, we'll be supporting the AI PC from Intel x86. Probably we'll have AMD x86 as well. And in Q1, we will also considering to have other AI PCs like the Apple. Their MacBook may also be in the scope. So overall, we will make sure it is a heterogeneous architecture by supporting the sufficient number of the hardware vendors. So this is a short overview for the roadmap. And I have a final. I have 2 more pages. Very simple. One is the calling for joining forces to OPEA to become an OPEA partner. So we just need a logo and a quote, and afterwards welcome you to join our technical steering committee and also the working groups. Especially for this team, we have a security working group being formulated, and Dan is the lead in that team. And our goal is to discuss customer use case and discuss solution space. As a step 2, after you become a partner of OPEA, we will expect you to bring the contributions. You can bring contribution to the code. Then you can create a PR, and then we will discuss case by case based on either it's a rack fine tuning or specification multi-agent. This is the code part, and we can also discuss the POC, the custom POC, or last but not least, we can co-develop the solution based on the market requirement. Feel free to join us. And the last page, it is some more QR code. So more information on the GitHub mailing list, and also our dev website. In summary, we're just 3-4 months old. We are running pretty fast. A lot of industry incumbent has been joining, and we believe open source. We believe enterprise customer need choice to build joint AI solution. Welcome everybody to join us to bring your contribution. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dan. I'll see if there's any questions. I'm not sure if I'm over time.
No, you're good.
I'm a bit. Okay.
I have one question. What place do you see for software vendors that are not open source in this project?
Basic short answers will welcome you to join force. So our entire approach is open source. Nevertheless, there is also customer use case will require closed source software vendors. Like we said, large language model perspective, we're supporting the OpenAI and Anthropic, and the same applies for the other part of the value chain. So our intention is to solve the customer requirements of software to bring the solution they want, and the closed source portion that we can plug and play into our solution if it is technically feasible.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And 2 days, I think maybe last week, we have a security company and want to join force OPEA, and it's a closed source security API company. It's called Corsa. And now they are one of the OPEA partners who offer closed source solutions.
That's good to hear that. Maybe while other people are thinking of questions, if I could steal the sharing from you, I can kind of give a different perspective on OPEA as I've tried to get more familiar with it myself. So OPEA.dev is the easy thing to remember, but it's all open source. And so to kind of give maybe a developer perspective, if you go into the GitHub, like a lot of projects, there's going to be quite a few different repos. But for me, these are sort of like the main 2 repos, the examples, and then the components. And so when I was getting underway with this, this project has all of the individual microservices in it. These are the different components. And then I like this illustration because it kind of shows like, all right, if I go grab the embedding service and the retrieval service, but maybe I have my own like to Ophir's question, maybe I've got my own proprietary re-rank service. I can plug my own thing in there. And then there's a coordinating service. And then all of these services can be composed using, normal container frameworks. There's Docker Compose scripts in here. And for each one of these top level use cases, so let's say I wanted to just do like a chat style generative AI case, there's a chat Q&A service in here.
That's right. That's right. We have a chat Q&A in the example part. This is the component portion. Yeah, you're right.
And so anyway, if you dig through here, it's going to bring you to, you can either grab pre-built containers off of like Docker Hub, I think, or you can build everything from source yourself. And I found that pretty straightforward. But I just like to give people like a starting point as a developer of, all right, which repo do I land on? How do I get started with something? And so hopefully this gives you sort of a more hands-on view of what the project looks like and where to jump in with it. All right, any other questions? Okay, well, if anything occurs to anyone else, Zhiwei had left his email on the first slide that he showed, or maybe you want to drop that into the chat if you like. You can reach out to him, you can reach out to me, or it's a pretty active community. So like a lot of our projects, if you got to the project landing page, there's connections to the wiki and the mail list and other ways to communicate with other people on the project right now.
I typed my email there, and I will share the deck to Dan afterwards, where Dan can share to the broader audience. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Zhiwei.